back to the Movie Attic. I'm Mike, and as I've said a million times, this is the Attic where I discuss and review movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks for all the nice people out there in YouTube land. Today's big movie is the Puppetoon Movie Volume 3. And if you saw the thumbnail, which I don't know how you wouldn't, also the Puppetoon Movie Volume 2. Now, these aren't actually movies, per se. They're a collection of George Pal shorts from the 30s and 40s. There's the back of Volume 2. It comes with a Blu-ray disc, a little booklet type thing, and a DVD. The booklet is like a fold-out deal with some information you might want about all this stuff. Volume 3 is just one Blu-ray disc, and it actually comes with a decent sized booklet with like the years of the shorts and you know what like they were restored from the 35 millimeter camera negative and all that kind of vital information. I don't know if I showed the back. Those are all the shorts on this Volume 3. I do have a sheet of paper, but not really a bunch of stats. If you know anything about some of this stuff, it's kind of a square picture. The shorts, at least the ones on Volume 3, basically range from 1934 to 1947. The bulk of them are from the 40s. I think there's about 28 shorts. And out of all, if you've ever watched this channel, and like I say, I would never admit to that if I were you, I'm a big stop motion fan. So like Ray Harryhausen and Willis O'Brien and some of the greats. George Pal was probably the one person I knew the least about. But some of the great people too, like George Pal, Ray Harryhausen, he actually did a bunch of these, like fairy tale shorts early in his career. Carol Zeman, some of the bonus features on these individual, and maybe even the box set, have some of his early stop motion work. So yeah, these were right up my alley, although I must say these probably sat in my viewing history on Amazon for a couple years. And I'll be honest, when I first saw like these pictures, I thought maybe they were horror movies or something, because they're kind of creepy looking. And but as soon as I checked them out, it's like, yeah, these are stop motion, shorts. There's cartoons as well. Some of this is a combination of cartoons and live action and stop motion and live action. So it was right up my alley. And the whole way this came about, and I actually got to talk to what I would call a big time celebrity of sorts. So I originally only placed an order for Volume 3. I had a birthday a while back. And I've had these for a little while now, at least 3 or 4 months. So I had Amazon gift cards. I thought, oh, I'll buy volume 3. There's actually a trailer on Amazon too. You can check them out, check out what they look like before you buy them. So I placed the order for volume 3. And the next day, when I came home from work, there was a message on my answering machine. Hey, this is Arnold. I'm looking for Mike. I need a verifiable address to ship these to. And there was 2 messages like that on the machine. So immediately, I thought, oh, is this some kind of scam? Because my wife had gotten messages, not on the phone, but like, oh yeah, we need like 10 cents more to ship this or something. So I was a little leery at first, but then when I looked up the number, which he gave the number, to call him back, it was the same one. These, by the way, these weren't sold by Amazon. They were sold by Puppetoon Inc. or whatever. So they weren't shipped by Amazon either. And the address I use on Amazon is like an RD address, but I never include the RD, so it does come up as an unverified address. But I didn't even think anything of it. But when I called back, I was shocked and surprised. I don't know if you can even see the name, but this guy here, the producer of these collections, Arnold Leibovic, was the guy I was talking to. He's a writer, producer. And so I was completely shocked. This is a pretty small time channel. So to talk to somebody actually in Hollywood that's, with this kind of stuff, was a complete privilege. He couldn't have been nicer. He wanted to get, a verified address because he was leaving for, I believe it was for California, because they were doing a screening of, I think, Forbidden Planet. And they were playing some of these George Powell shorts before the movie, and he was going to be there and introduce them and stuff, and he wanted to ship these out to me before he left because he always shuts down the storefront until he gets back. So we talked for probably 10-15 minutes. I told him I had a YouTube channel, and I would, if I liked them, I would put them on the channel, and here they are. And he seemed very interested, and I told him up front, I said, I have a very, very small channel. And he was still very nice, still, eager to talk about this stuff, and you could tell he has a real passion for this. He's the one in charge of getting these things restored and putting them out on Blu-rays. These are factory pressed Blu-rays. They're not, recordable discs or anything. So they're top-notch stuff. Now I will say, if you're not a stop-motion fan, George Powell had done movies, of course, War of the Worlds, and I think The Time Machine and stuff like that. For volume 3 currently, it's going for about $39-40 on Amazon. And he told me on the phone, he said, well, we're kind of getting low on stock of volume 2. You should probably order that one. So I did. But volume 2 currently is going for like $78, which that's pretty pricey. So if you're not a super fan of George Powell or not a super fan of stop motion, that might be a little bit. When I bought it, it wasn't $78, but it did go go up significantly shortly after I'd bought it. So I'm more than thankful to Arnold for letting me know that before the price hike. So, yeah, if you're a fan of stop motion, and I didn't watch all these at one time, I've been watching them, when I have a half hour here and there to watch a few of them at a time. Because to just go through them all, I mean, that could get old, I think, pretty quick. But I enjoyed them immensely. They weren't near as creepy as these these pictures might lead you to believe. Of course, and one of the great things about this too, and I commend Arnold Leibovitz for this, they are uncut, and they have the warnings. I'm sure if you collect any of this stuff, like old cartoons like Looney Tunes or Tom and Jerry, there's the warning, these were made in a time and blah blah blah. So there is a warning, and all that stuff, but they are uncut, and I think that's the way. Recently there's been a lot of stuff coming up with, I think it was one of the Crocodile Dundee movies. They cut out a scene, or at least one company did, that put it out on 4K, and then they cut out a scene of the original cartoon of Lilo and Stitch in 4K. So I'm not spending my money on, if I know something has scenes cut out of it or it's been edited, I'm not paying my hard-earned money for something like that. So it was very nice to see that these weren't cut. There's a lot of things in these. Of course, there's bonus features. And one of the bonus features of Volume 3 is a interview with Ray Harryhausen, and he'd worked with George Powell, and he was explaining how his style of stop motion, how it differed from what he did. And, a lot of these people have their own style of stop motion. And when you see it, you can say, oh, yeah, I know who did that. That was, that was Ray Harryhausen, or that was George Powell. There's voices in these that I recognize the voice from either cartoons back then or something like that. Bugs Bunny makes an appearance in one of these. And then there's at least one celebrity that's in with the Puppetoons, and then there's a musician that's in with one of the Puppetoons as well. But overall, highly, I don't want to say I recommend. I don't like to recommend anything just because, check it out for yourself. If this is something that's up your alley, if you're a big time stop motion fan, or a George Powell fan, these are probably an essential part of that, Like I say, this one's a little pricey. I don't know if any of these are on eBay or not, but like I say, I enjoyed them. They're things, even though I didn't grow up in that time, and I know it's like, what? You look like you're old enough to have grown up in that time. They're very nostalgic for me to old time, I love old timey stuff, especially stop motion. I grew up, like I said many times, in the 70s watching, these Ray Harryhausen movies and Clash of the Titans and all that stuff. And so if I was to rate these, and the video quality differs between them, but most of them look very, very good. Some of them you can see little specks here and there, but if you've ever checked out other stop motion stuff from this time, some of this stuff, like this, has some silent stop motion movies and stuff in it. They look pretty rough, but these things look really good, and I give all the props to Arnold Leibovitz for doing an excellent job of putting these out. Like I say, if I was to rate these Puppetoon shorts, I would probably give them 9 out of 10 rolls of pink insulation. Obviously, like I said, if you're not into stop motion, these might not be up your alley. There is some, I don't want to say fairy tales, but there's some like Dr. Seuss stuff in here as well. And like I say, very enjoyable. I don't know what the 10 out of 10, if it wasn't such a niche thing, like I say, I think they're high quality. Couldn't ask for more. Glad I bought both volumes. And so if you have either one of these, or you've seen Puppetoons or George Powell stuff or stop motion in general, leave a comment down in the comments section. I'd love to discuss it. If you have these in particular, I'd like to know your opinion on them, what you thought of them. And and getting to call Arnold Leibovitz was actually a highlight of that day. It's like I don't talk to many celebrities, as you can probably tell. So it was a complete privilege. He couldn't have been nicer. So until next time, when I have a completely different movie in the attic, and I don't know if it will be a movie. I think it's going to be a trailer for my movie. And that's going to be bonkers, as you can probably tell, and very low quality too. I'll give you a heads up on that right away. So until then, thanks so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you soon. Bye.